Tonight on News Hour, the Gaussians living on the bridges share stories of unending struggle amid harsh economic conditions. Bandits shoot retired general heading Zamfara community guards. NDLEA arrest Thailand returnee with 3.1 billion naira heroin concealed in bags at Lagos airport. And on the international scene, Sudan rescuers say airstrike killed 23 in Khartoum market. A very good evening and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. My name is Sagir Ibrahim. Now to details. Housing and decent accommodation continue to be a significant challenge, especially in bustling urban areas like Lagos. Now, for many residents, the high cost of living leaves proper housing out of reach, forcing some to make homes in the unlikeliest of places. In this special report, Victoria Tokolo takes us beneath the bridge at Computer Village, where she meets those often overlooked by society. Through their stories, we explore their daily struggles, hopes and dreams, offering a glimpse into the harsh realities of life for those trying to survive in the shadows of Lagos. The report is presented from our studio.
Lagos, a city of contrast, where the vibrant hustle of daily life collides with the harsh realities of poverty. Beneath the busy bridges connecting the mainland to the island lies a hidden world often overlooked by those who pass by. Here in the shadows, a community has emerged, making makeshift shelters their homes. These are the under-bridge dwellers, people forced to the fringe, struggling to survive. Among them is Ismail Adeyemi, a father of 5, who lived under the Ikeja Computer Village Bridge for over a year and 8 months due to unaffordable housing. Yemi Adebayo, a young energetic bus conductor, has learned to be a new technician with money from his bus business, but still lacks the funds to secure a proper place to sleep. For people like Ismail and Yemi, life beneath the bridge is marked by hardship and uncertainty. They, along with many others, are appealing to the state government and stakeholders for a help, a place to rest their heads, a chance for a better life. Living under the bridge, they say, is filled with nothing but pain. A struggle, a reality they hope to one day they leave behind.
Yes, it has been a long time now, over a year. I've been outside here, staying here. And then I have landlord issue in Ikorodu. So I don't have money for house rent, pay back in a year month, in a year time. So I don't want problem. I pack out with my load. I distribute some to some people, which is my friend.
I use conductor learn styling work. After I don't learn my work, I don't get money to get a shop to rent, because the shop now is cost. Apartment going to just get common one room now is expensive.
Still with the underbridge dwellers in Lagos State, Idowu Ogbu, the chairman of the underbridge community at Computer Village, is calling on the government and society to step in and help. He highlights the case of Ismail Adeyemi, a father of 5, who has been living under the bridge with his children. Ogbu stresses the dangers of raising young children in such conditions, pointing out the serious risks it poses to the well-being and development. He urges the state to act swiftly, emphasizing that no child has to grow up in such an environment, exposed to the harsh realities of life beneath the bridge.
But this man where they sleep on that bridge, he carry pikin come, carry you come, carry property come on that bridge, come dey suffer for here, and then we don't want that for here again. Make government help am. The government is not helping us. When this thing is happening, at least when the government hear those things, people are complaining about accommodation. The high price of accommodation is too much. They will have called landlord meeting, the government. Then how much are you renting your room?
I come for Jigawa, so I want to do work for Ikeja. I don't get where I sleep. Now that bridge I sleep.
There's an urgent need for Lagos State government to enforce housing regulations that prevent property owners from burdening citizens with high rent. This skyrocketing cost of housing is pushing many like Ismaila into desperate situations. Ismaila, a father of 5, is not the only one seeking refuge under the bridge at Computer Village. But this case stands out due to the presence of his wife and young children, all struggling to survive in such dire conditions. The sudden surge in housing costs has become unbearable for many Lagos residents. It is crucial for the state government to address this growing crisis by ensuring property owners are held accountable, making housing more affordable and accessible for all. Without intervention, more families could be forced into the same vulnerable circumstances, living in unsafe spaces like under bridges.
Also, the Poultry Association of Nigeria has warned that if urgent steps are not taken to support poultry farmers, prices of eggs may increase from the current 5,500 naira to 10,000 naira per crate. They attributed the rising cost of the protein to high cost of transportation as a result of fuel subsidy removal, as well as indiscriminate increase in prices of feed by the millers. The Secretary of PAN, FCT chapter, Musa Hakim, said this at a press briefing to commemorate the World Egg Day on Saturday, October 12, 2024 in Abuja. Hakim said the federal government must, as a matter of urgency, declare a state of emergency on egg production in the country, given the serious decline in protein intake, saying Nigerians cannot afford to depend on importation of eggs. He called on the government to ensure that they carry PAN along in their intervention activities, as they have the data of all the poultry farmers in the FCT. He lamented that the government is not paying the required attention to the poultry subsector, as it has been neglected over time, saying business owners have been operating in their own volition and hoped that the industry does not crash. Bandits on Sunday shot the Director General of the Zamfara State Community Protection Guards, General Lawal B. Mohammed, retired. Daily Trust gathered that General Mohammed was shot by the bandits during an attack on motorists at Kucheri village in Tafe local government area of Zamfara State. The bandits were said to have blocked the busy Funtua Tafe road late evening and attacked motorists, including the CPG's DG. Our reporter gathered that scores of passengers were abducted by the bandits during the operation. A source from the Zamfara State Ministry of Internal Security, who preferred anonymity because he was not authorized to speak to the press, confirmed the incident and said the DG was receiving medical treatment at a hospital in Gusau, the state capital. The attack comes days after bandits killed at least 8 CPG personnel and a commercial driver in Tafe local government area of Zamfara. Eyewitness accounts revealed that the bandits ambushed the CPG personnel before killing them. The bandits also engaged soldiers in a gun duel at Ungwarchida village, killing a commercial driver and injuring 3 soldiers. Ungwarchida is a village just a few meters away from Magazu on the same Funtua Gusau road. The 2 separate attacks, according to a resident of Ungwarchida, were carried out almost at the same time. Reacting to that attack, the general who was shot had said after he realized that bandits had made operations in Tafe a routine exercise, he deployed 105 CPG personnel to the local government and stationed them at that particular point to protect travelers. And joining us now via telephone for more details is Daily Trust Regional Editor Isho Adamu. Welcome to the News Hour, Isho. Can you give us more details, first of all, as to the current state of the general who was shot, the DG of the CPG, of course?
Yeah, like you have rightly said, the man was shot by bandits along Funtua Sape Road. He was first rushed to Yerima Bakura Specialist Hospital in Gusau, but later he was referred to Dala Orthopedic Hospital in Kanu because he had a fractured leg, and the bullet went through the leg and passed and then hit the second leg. So he was referred to Dala Orthopedic in Kanu. So currently he was taken to Dala for more medical attention. And like you have said, this particular road has become a death trap to many travelers, especially in the recent days, because the bandits used to attack sometimes twice in a day and abducted several passengers. Even yesterday's attack, they have abducted scores of passengers, which up to this time we have been trying to get a reaction from police to know whether they have ascertained the number of people that were abducted.
All right. So, Ishao,
So-
we have. Go ahead, Ishao. Finish your thoughts.
What I'm saying that we are still waiting for the police to react on this issue.
Okay, so Ishao, now we have Tafe in Zamfara and then we have Funtua in Katsina. Zamfara, Katsina, two states that one would describe as hotspots for the activities of bandits in northwest Nigeria in recent times. Now, are there concerns that despite the deployment of the CPG, 105 of them, especially on the Tafe-Funtua road, the bandits have continued to operate unabated?
Mala Abdullahi, what will surprise you is not even the deployment of 105 the community protection guard. Those 500 announced, those 105 were deployed to only Sapi because the attack is on increase in that local government. That is why the DG decided to deploy this 105. But beside this deployment, you cannot even move from 25 to 30 a meter, I think, without reaching a checkpoint of the military. This is what people are complaining about. We have several checkpoints. From Puntua to Sapi, I have counted 17 checkpoints. But despite these checkpoints, this banditry is on increase. So this is why people are always asking themselves why this issue is always on the increase despite the presence of security personnel along this road. This is the question. So either of the two, either the security were not given the chance to operate in the way they're supposed to, or they are just there to show up because they are not protecting people.
Interesting.
They are not protecting.
Isham, now we've seen an increase in the number of deployments of security personnel on that road. Now, in addition, the CPG was also deployed there. Are you saying that despite all of these deployments, it may seem as though the activities of these bandits have not reduced in any way? Are you saying that there might have been an increase even though there has also been an increase in the deployment of personnel?
Of course, there is increase of banditry along that road. I have said it, that they can these bandits used to operate sometimes twice in a day. There was a day they operate around 5 o'clock. After 30 minutes, they return to the same place and operate. They open fire to 4 moving vehicles. Later, they return and kill a driver and abducted all the passengers on board. Even yesterday, even 2 days ago, they operate twice. That very day they killed 8 CPG personnel. They operate twice. The CPG DG was in Magazu on his way to Sapi. He was alerted that these bandits are operating in Ungorchida. So he called military. They went there. These bandits engaged the military. They shot 3 soldiers. 1 was injured in his jaw. And they operate twice that very day.
Ishao, from what you have observed, yes, indeed, from what you have observed, because I mean, it's been in the media about a renewed onslaught on bandits and also the activities of terrorists in Nigeria, but it seems you have sort of a different perspective of these owing to the fact that you've been observing, the incidents around Katsina and also Zamfara. What would you say, in addition to the government's efforts towards ensuring the reduction of banditry, would you describe it as largely successful as it's been put in the media?
But the issue, Abdullah, is that the attack by the bandits has reduced in the villages, in the remote areas. But they have turned their activities on that particular road. And we have only that road going to, or coming from Gusau or going to Puntua and what have you. So even the bandits, they wanted to attract the attention of the public. That is why they are taking their attack to that particular road. So government should pay attention to that particular road. They should provide enough security. They should allow them to operate the way they're supposed to operate so that these bandits could not have a chance to operate on that particular road.
Ishadamu, thank you so much for the update there. We will definitely touch base with you subsequently as more develop. Do have a good evening and also stay safe.
Thank you.
Ishadamu, the Daily Trust Regional Editor, giving us update on the development on the Safi Funtua Road. Moving on now, police in Nasarawa State have apprehended 2 suspected kidnappers identified as Abubakar Ibrahim and Isa Ayuba in Obi local government for alleged kidnap and murder of one Felicia Namkiwa. In a statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer, Nasarawa State Command, DSP Rahman Nanso, and obtained by the Daily Trust in Lafia, the state capital, on Sunday, explained that the suspects were arrested after a complaint was lodged that the kidnapped victim, now deceased, had been missing with no knowledge of her whereabouts. Nanso added that police investigation had revealed that the victim was lured via a telephone call by Abubakar Ibrahim, who owed her 40,000 naira and sought that she took grains in one of the Fulani settlements. The suspect subsequently led the police operatives to the scene where the decayed remains of the victim were recovered, he stated. The statement, however, explained further that the State Commissioner of Police, Umar Shehu Nadada, had ordered the Deputy Commissioner of Police in charge of State Criminal Investigation Department to swiftly conclude the investigation and charge the suspects to court for immediate prosecution. And gunmen have killed crew members of broadcast outlet Super Sports in Anambra. A police officer was also gunned down. They were traveling to cover the Super Eagles 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Libya. The Nigeria Football Federation said Saturday that the victims were killed by kidnappers in an ambush on the Ihiala Olu Road in Anambra State on Tuesday, 8th October 2024. It, however, added that it is commiserating with the families of the slain persons. Reports say the bandits opened fire on the bus in which the SuperSport operatives were traveling with staff and security personnel on board, and the attack immediately resulted in the deaths of a cameraman, a police officer, and the bus driver, the NFF said on Saturday. A sad NFF president, Ibrahim Gusau, said though Nigeria defeated Libya 1-0 in the Friday encounter in the southern city of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, the incident has cast a shadow on the Super Eagles' victory. 14 persons were said to have been in the vehicle at the time of the ambush. 8 persons were eventually rescued. 2 escaped on their own. 3 were killed, and 1 person is still unaccounted for, the NFF statement read. To other stories now. Education is vital for preserving and transmitting Fulani culture across generations. Traditionally, Fulani education relied heavily on informal methods, with knowledge and cultural practices passed down through oral traditions, storytelling, and practical experiences. But in recent decades, there has been an increasing acknowledgement of the importance of formal education in sustaining Fulani culture. Many within the community now advocate for the pursuit of knowledge as a means to safeguard their rich heritage and ensure its continuity. Trust TV's Hassan Koli brings details.
With estimates from various national and international bodies predicting the extinctions of many tribes and cultures, efforts are underway to preserve indigenous cultures worldwide. The Fulani culture, despite its long-standing recognition, is not immune to these threats. Urbanization and the shift toward modern lifestyles are challenging its existence as many Fulani individuals migrate to urban centers in search of better opportunities and ways to adapt. Nevertheless, some Fulani communities actively maintain their cultural practices during significant events such as weddings and naming ceremonies. These celebrations serve as a vital means of preserving their rich heritage, allowing them to pass down traditions and customs to future generations.
So actually, we do a lot of things to take like measures. We have a lot of measures we take to maintain our cultural heritage. Like during our weddings, we do invite the Fulani ladies and men to come in a traditional attire, to come and dance our culture. We use a culture, we even create a cultural day on our weddings, actually, like Fulani Day, where we will be in our traditional attire, we will bring yogurt, and then we decorate ourselves in our Fulani attire. And someone like me, because I like my culture and language as well, we have a very constant usage of the language. Anywhere you see us, we speak Fulani, we dress in Fulani, and we always identify ourselves as Fulani.
Some Fulani individuals actively call upon their community members across nations to come together and explore ways to preserve their culture. These include promoting the use of traditional attires and utensils in everyday life, fostering a sense of identity and continuity within the community. Such efforts aim to reinforce cultural pride and encourage younger generations to embrace their heritage.
At times, literacy can affect some cultures. Living cultures is another factor, because once you live your culture, you can end into different things. So that is why we are always been trying to call our attention of our Fulani everywhere they are, to create skill acquisitions, education, adult and non-formal education to develop our peoples in Nigeria.
It's one of the strategies to promote and to unite the culture, because it's a place where all the Fulanis here will come and meet, discuss and know each other, know some of the cultures, how to promote them, how to come together and discuss and join other languages in order to develop themselves economically, security-wise.
While urbanization and farmer-herder conflict have diminished the pasture lands that have sustained the Fulani for generations, climate change has further exacerbated their challenges. Issues like drought, desertification, and the depletion of natural resources have made it increasingly difficult for the Fulani to uphold their traditional pastoral practices, which depend heavily on access to water sources and abundant grazing lands. These environmental changes threaten their way of life and the cultural heritage tied to their pastoralism. From Gombe, Hassan Koli, reporting for Trust TV.
And to politics now, the People's Democratic Party in Kano State has elected new sets of leaders to steer the activities of the party going forward. The members of the party have elected Yusuf Ado Kibia as the new chairman of the party in Kano. The election, which started since Saturday evening, was however concluded and results announced on Sunday by the chairman of the election committee from the party's national headquarters, Halilu Abubakar Mazagani. Kibia secured a landslide victory, clinching the seat with 3,964 votes to defeat his opponent Nura Nuhu, who scored 244 votes. Following the announcement, Barrister Abdul Fattah Mohammed administered the oath of office to the 39 newly elected state party leaders, including Honorable Kibia. The new leadership is expected to steer the PDP's affairs in Kano as the party works towards strengthening its presence and strategies ahead of upcoming political activities. And elsewhere, Governor Umar Namadi of Jigawa State has suspended his special advisor on salary and pensions, Bashir Adu, over an alleged premature statement on 70,000 naira minimum wage. This is contained in a statement signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Bala Ibrahim in Duse, on Saturday. Ibrahim said the government viewed with serious concern a statement circulating in various sections of the media alleging that the governor has approved 70,000 naira as a new minimum wage for workers in the state. Also, the governor of Ondo State and candidate of the ruling All Progressives Congress in the November 16 governorship election, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has approved a minimum wage of 73,000 naira for civil servants in the state. The federal government and the organized labor had in September signed an agreement on the new minimum wage of 70,000 naira for government workers in the country. Aiyedatiwa, who was accompanied by his deputy chief, Aide Adelami, and top party members, announced the new salary wage on Saturday at the Ondo Central APC flag-off campaign at Ondo West local government area of the state ahead of the off-cycle governorship election, while noting that the state government workers were being motivated through training opportunities and promotion exercises. Aide explained that the state had not relented from the prompt payment of workers' salary and arrears. And one of Daily Trust's unsung heroes is a selfless naval officer who lost his life while leading a team of Nigeria's maritime force to rescue a distressed vessel. Isa Ismaila reports on his sacrifice and dedication to service. Take a look.
In July 2024, Lieutenant Commander Gideon Gwaza made the ultimate sacrifice of laying down his life to save 59 people from a distressed vessel in the Okpobo River in Rivers State, Nigeria. The 30-year-old Gwaza was a dedicated naval officer whose leadership prowess was proved up until his final moments. He volunteered for the rescue operation, leading his men into treacherous waters, prioritizing their safety above all else.
My late husband, Lieutenant Commander Gideon Gwaza, was practically the best thing God ever gave to us. He was our everything. He was a very loving husband. He was an incredible father and a very good son to his mother. For those who have crossed paths with him, those that have been privileged, that were privileged to meet him, they can attest to that. He was a very selfless person. GY cared a lot about people. And I'm sure that was what pushed him to try to rescue those in distress at the point he went.
I wish I am strong enough to carry another child. I would have asked God to give me back Gideon, to give birth to him again. This is a child everybody would love to give birth. I have never seen a wonderful boy like that.
In August, the late Gwaza was laid to rest at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja as a hero. Top officers of the Nigeria's Maritime Force described his death as a great loss to the Nigerian Navy and the country at large.
From all that have been said and from the inquiries that I made also, and also looking at his career records, I can only say that the officer was a born soldier. He was born great, as has been attested to by even his sister. He was a courageous officer, a man of integrity, a man of impeccable character, and above all, a professional to the core.
The late Officer Gwaza hails from Zangon Kataf local government area of Kaduna State and has served the Nigerian Navy in numerous capacity. His sacrifice embodies the value he lived by: courage, duty, and commitment to humanity, affirming his worthiness as a true unsung hero. Isa Ismaila, Trust TV.
You're watching the news hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, Lagosians advocate change in governance system to facilitate good governance and development. This and of course other stories when we return. Join us again. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is Trust TV News Hour. And let's take a recap of our top stories again. Lagosians living under bridges share stories of unending struggle amid harsh economic conditions. And bandits shoot retired general heading Zamfara community guards. Let's get to more stories now. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency says its operatives at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, have arrested a Thailand returnee, Ogwejofo Nnemeka Simon Peter, for importing 13.30 kilograms of heroin worth over 3.192 billion naira. This is just as operatives of the NDLEA at a 3 seaport intercepted large consignments of opioids with a combined monetary value of 22.7 billion naira. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi and made available to the media on Sunday. He said that Ogwe Jiofor was arrested on Monday, 7th October 2024 while attempting to smuggle the illicit drugs concealed in 6 backpacks and then packed into 2 big suitcases out of the airport. The 29-year-old graduate of mechanical engineering was said to have left Thailand on 3rd October on Qatar Airways flight and stopped over in Doha, where he spent 2 days before heading to Lagos, while his luggage was routed to Accra, Ghana, his original destination. Ogwe Jiofor was said to have claimed in his statement that he was hired for a fee of $7,000 upon successful delivery of the parcels. He said he was to deliver 2 parcels in Lagos and the other 4 parcels in Accra, Ghana. Meanwhile, the NDLEA also disclosed that a total of 32.6 million pills of tramadol worth over 12.5 billion naira, bottles of codeine-based syrup with a street value of 10.1 billion naira have been intercepted at the Lekki Deep Sea Port, Apapa Seaport in Lagos, and Port Harcourt Port Complex, One, River State. The combined monetary value of the seized opioids come to 22.7 billion naira. The Commissioner of Police, Imo State Command, CP Aboki Njuma, has ordered the arrest of an officer and his team for extorting money from commercial bus drivers. The command's public relations officer, ASP Henry Okoye, disclosed this in a statement on X on Sunday. A 15-second video showed a policeman collecting money from commercial bus drivers plying the road. Okoye assured all that he would identify these officers and share their details here to show that the command has zero tolerance for extortion. He added that the CP has also directed the command's complaint response unit and provost department to ensure the officers receive maximum punishment. Disciplinary actions will be taken against them to serve as a warning to others, he added. And Nigerians continue to express frustration over the connection of their phone lines due to technical issues related to the linkage of national identification numbers. This comes after the recent deadline set by the Nigerian Communications Commission. Trust TV's Adamu Imam brings details.
In August, the Nigerian Communication Commission announced that no SIM card will remain active without a verified NIN starting September 15. The telecom regulator urged subscribers with incomplete NIN SIM linkages or verification issues to promptly update their details with service providers before the deadline. However, many Nigerians have raised concerns over the process and its challenges.
To the NIM office, and to my surprise, my number, which is an MTN line SIM, it was showing a different number. I was surprised. So I was advised to go back and see how I can carry out another registration. So I think it's something that needs to be addressed because it means that person using that particular my number now, if that person commits a crime, they will link it. They will likely, one way or the other, still try to trace that one time it was my number.
But the issue we are facing now, you find out that a day you will be disconnected, that your link has not been your NIN has not been linked with your BBN or has not been linked with your phone numbers. So these issues are issues that not only me, many of Nigerians are facing, and it's very difficult.
When I raised my complaint and double-checked, they told me to come back in a few weeks. Now that I have returned to link my lines, my phone service has been restored, and I can communicate as I did before. I have no issues with the NIN linkage. According to NCC data from March 2024, of the 219 million active mobile lines in Nigeria, only 153 million have been linked to National Identification Numbers (NIN). In response to ongoing technical challenges, officials in Bauchi State announced the introduction of new devices aimed at improving the verification process.
But it's a new development that we are having. self-service modification. Okay. Our National Energy Management Commission introduced a self-service modification link. You can use your phone number, although there is a link that you install in your phone number. If you install it, you can make your own modification on your own phone number. If you have the Android or iPhone, you can make use of them to modify your data.
Officials caution that the 66 million unlinked lines are at risk of disconnection since July 29. Millions of lines have been temporarily barred due to unverified names, leading to widespread disruptions in telephone communication across the country. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Food security is a growing concern in Nigeria, with experts stressing its direct link to national security. Our farmers in the northern region face severe challenges as banditry and insecurity continue to restrict access to farmlands, threatening agricultural productivity. In this report, Trust TV News speaks to experts across sectors on the looming dangers of food insecurity.
Experts are urging immediate enhanced security measures to allow farmers to safely return to their fields, while government policies aim to restore security and support affected communities. Recent data shows a rise in rice production, a positive sign amidst ongoing challenges. In Lagos State, DCP Martin Nwogo of Zone 2 highlighted the police efforts. The police role in trans-security operations focused on stabilizing agriculture. Efforts across Lagos and Ogun State include reassuring farmers, especially in Ogun, where tensions with herders have been reported. Community policing has fostered collaboration between local farmers and herders, preventing disputes from escalating.
Issues between farmers and the herders, using the community as a collaboration with the community and the civil organizations to encourage the farmers and herders to resolve amicably disputes that could have ordinarily degenerated in crisis. We have been able to use the community policing platform to encourage farmers and the herders to resolve some of those differences. That is why you see that many people are taking to farming, especially in this area, and the crises that we are witnessing in other areas are not happening here within our own zone.
Dr. Timothy Okiowo emphasized that promoting agricultural education and awareness shouldn't be the sole responsibility of the government. He called for a collective effort involving all sectors of society to ensure meaningful progress in the agricultural sector.
Some of the challenges are in terms of inconsistency in our government policies, poor funding, mismanagement and corruption are issues that are bringing about insecure food situation in Nigeria. One of the best ways to do this is to ensure that there's what we call inclusive policy decision making, involving the local farmers from the bottom top. Secondly, by looking at a proper monitoring and coordination among agencies involved in food production. Number 3 is about adequate funding, budgetary funding, and eliminating mismanagement in the society.
We need a lot of legislation in terms of protecting the farmers. Because as things were going now, well, we may have people that are interested, because the way we are preaching it, we see a lot of people getting interested in farming, but the space to also farm is also another thing, which include security, protection, the road access and all those stuff, the time, the storage facility, and a whole lot that.
By the time we are able to minimize insurgency, people will participate more in farming, especially in those areas where they depend on farming and they can produce in excess. So we have to remove insecurity first for people to be sure that they are safe, and then they operate better.
Experts are urging increased awareness and collective action to address Nigerians' food production challenges. With agriculture seen as a key pillar of national development, they emphasize the need for greater efforts to secure the country's future food supply.
And residents of Ondo town who were affected by flood after heavy rainfall in the community on Friday have called on the state government and intervention agencies to assist them in cushioning the effect of the flood. Properties worth millions of naira were destroyed by the downpour, which lasted for several hours in some parts of the town. Some of the areas affected include Itanla, Oka, Odo-Ijomu, Bethlehem, Akure-Ondo Expressway, Ife Road, among others. According to an eyewitness, many houses and vehicles in the affected streets were submerged by the flood, forcing many residents to flee their houses even though there was no loss of life in the incident. In response, the state government said it had ordered for the evacuation of the affected areas and rapid response had begun to halt further damages. This was contained in a statement issued by the State Commissioner for Environment, Oyeniyi Oseni, on Saturday. Oseni said that amphibious excavators had been deployed into critical erosion-prone areas in the state for dredging. The commissioner says the cause of the flooding on Friday also could be attributed to development on waterways in an estate at Fagun and along Ife Road area of the community. He further stated that his ministry was going to collaborate with the relevant section of the government to address the unlawful deployment along the waterways. Still on developments in southwest Nigeria, Lagos State residents are urging the federal government to adopt a regional system of governance, believing it could curb corruption and boost development. They argue that greater state autonomy would allow for more effective solutions to local challenges and drive progress nationwide. Frustration with the federal system is growing, with many believing it stifles innovation and deepens inefficiencies. Or could regional governance be the key to unlocking Nigeria's potential? Or take a look.
Lagos residents are calling for a return to the regional system of government, believing it to be the solution to Nigeria's corruption crisis. They argue that the system once practiced during the era of Chief Obafemi Awolowo was highly effective in promoting development across states and regions. Speaking to citizens in the Abulegba area, many urge leaders to reinstate regional governance, saying it as the best way to combat corruption and drive sustainable development nationwide.
They want to go for the higher position. So it will reduce so many things like corruption. Then you will focus on what you have in your region, on your region, to develop your country.
The regional government should open more doors for citizens of Nigeria and the youth, so everything will be better, because this government that we are doing now is more than what we think about. So that one should be better for us to have the regional government. I think that one will be okay for us when we have it. We put our head to corruption, stealing, and all those manners of inequality that is happening. We put our head to it, because each government, each state, or each region will depend on their own resources, and they will know how to harness it and use it to improve on that aspect, not waiting for money at the end of the month.
Regional government or no regional government, the problem of Nigeria is corruption. So whether you are party regional government or what they call democracy or democracy, whatever they call it, the problem is that the people handling it are very corrupt. Actually, regional government, we will not be able to achieve regional government in Nigeria because of, a lot of ethnicity and whatever. And for us to have regional government is the real thing for Nigeria now, in the sense that with this everything of federal government, we discover that there is no way this thing can go to the grassroots.
Regardless of whether Nigeria adopts a regional system of government, it is essential for those in power to act with integrity to foster the nation's development. The progress and growth of Nigeria hinge on leaders doing what is right, as the country's most urgent need remains sustainable development.
Now, troops of 6th Division of the Nigerian Army say it has confiscated 230,000 liters of stolen crude oil and frustrated several attempts at stealing crude oil from compromised pipelines across the region. A press statement issued in Port Harcourt on Sunday, the division's Assistant Director of Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Njuma Jonah, said in the preceding week, 37 illegal refining sites were destroyed 12 boats, 9 vehicles, and 4 motorcycles were intercepted with stolen products. Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma Juna said 8 suspects were arrested, while over 230,000 liters of stolen crude products were recovered. Similarly, in a separate operation conducted, troops recorded successes at Imo Riverside, resulting in the destruction of over 30 illegal refining sites, 44 cooking pots, 6 wooden boats, small tanker barge with over 20,000 liters of stolen products recovered. Troops also recovered remarkable operational successes around Krakrama in Asari Toru local government, where 1 illegal refining site, 2 locally made boats were destroyed with over 13,000 stolen crude products recovered. Now, still watching the news hour on Trust Television. More news when we return. Thanks for staying with the news hour on Trust Television. A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to pay a firm, Kasmal International Services, 579.1 billion naira for assisting the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST, to collect stamp duty between January 1st, 2015 and January 31st, 2020. The court also ordered the CBN to pay the 579 billion naira judgment sum along with 10% interest per annum. Justice Iyang Ekwo handed down the judgment on Friday in a suit filed by Kasmal with the CBN and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice as defendants. Justice Ekwo faulted the defendants' contention that NIPOST lacked the statutory power to collect stamp duties and that the agreement NIPOST reached with the plaintiff was illegal. The judge declared that a previous judgment on stamp duty given in favor of the plaintiff still subsisted, as it is yet to be contradicted by any higher court. The judge noted that the CBN had earlier paid Kasmal 10.3 billion naira, representing 15% of the remitted stamp duty paid by all deposit money banks between January 1st, 2015 and January 31st, 2020. Also, the federal government has intensified efforts to rescue Nigerians currently trapped in Lebanon as the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah worsens. This comes as the president of the Nigerian community in Lebanon, Roland Aigbobiosa, said more than 70 Nigerians have been so far registered for evacuation from the crisis-ridden country. The current crisis began in September when Iran launched a barrage of 180 ballistic missiles towards Israel in retaliation for the assassination of Iran-backed militant leaders. In response to the situation, the federal government, through the special assistant to the Nigerian president on social media, Dada Olusegun, issued an alert on October 1st, urging all Nigerians in Lebanon to get in touch with the Nigerian embassy in Beirut for profiling, documentation, and potential evacuation. The government activated its emergency evacuation protocols through the agencies working closely with the Nigerian mission in Lebanon, especially the National Emergency Management Agency, among others. Some of the trapped Nigerians in the country cried out to the federal government last week for quick intervention as the conflict deepens in Beirut, the Lebanese capital. The spokesperson for NEMA, Manzo Ezekiel, said the agencies and the coordinating Ministry of Foreign Affairs were already intensifying efforts on the evacuation plans. He noted that the evacuation were to give a sense of national responsibility given the critical conditions of some Nigerians in the troubled country. Away from Nigeria, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday urged United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres to immediately vacate UN peacekeepers from combat areas in southern Lebanon. In the past few days, at least 5 UN peacekeepers have been wounded as Israeli forces target Hezbollah fighters in southern Lebanon. The Lebanese Red Cross said a team of its paramedics were hit by a strike while on a rescue mission in the southern part of Lebanon, leaving them lightly wounded and 2 ambulances damaged. The US officials believe that Israel has narrowed its targets in response to Iran's recent attack to military and energy infrastructure. And in sports now, world number one Jannik Sinner triumphed over 24-time Grand Slam champion Novak Djokovic with a score of 7-6, 6-3 on Sunday, capturing the Shanghai Masters title and denying Djokovic his 100th career singles title. Sinner secured a critical break in the fourth game of the second set, concluding the match in just 1 hour and 37 minutes. After the match, Djokovic acknowledged Sinner's performance. Sinner praised Djokovic as a legend who consistently delivers incredible tennis year after year. And that wraps up the news hour on Trust Television. Do not forget to follow us across all of our social platforms and catch our live stream on Facebook and YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Aide. On behalf of the crew, have a good night.